recently, and I can understand why they would do that. Regardless, let's go over the actual team comps. So mid lane has picked up Lux, then they have a Rengar top, Hecarim jungle, and then bot lane is going to be Sona Jinx. Sona Jinx has some crazy damage potential. If they get any sort of an early advantage, I would expect them to keep it. Whereas they're going to be facing into a Nami Caitlyn bot lane, where Nami Caitlyn has a better poke and hard engage potential, where like you land a bubble once they're to half health or so, and then boom, they're dead. Done. Whereas Sona Jinx are more going to be about quick burst trades, where Sona is going to land a quick combo, Jinx is going to land a quick combo, and then they're going to want to retreat and back out. Overall, I would actually give that the lane itself, I would give that over to blue team, because Nami Caitlyn, I think, has a better 1 through 4 than Sona Jinx. That being said, Sona Jinx is better in the mid to late game because you have the Jinx resets and you have the flash ults coming in from Sona to set up those early plays. Whereas Nami, a little bit more tricky to use your combo, but either one has a good chance of succeeding there. Then they're going to be dealing with a Zyra mid, an Aurelia top, and a Lee Sin jungle. Lee Sin, even though he was nerfed, doesn't matter. He's still super, super strong. He will always be strong until they change his kit drastically. That being said, he is more reliant on landing early plays. So on blue side, I'd be trying for some early protection, early wards to try and just keep some level of safety. Because in order for Lee Sin to succeed, he has to land early ganks. He has to land early counter jungle. He has to get ahead, or he's going to fall off much harder than he did before the nerfs. Rengar Aurelia, that's a skill matchup, I would say. Same with Lux Zyra. It's actually annoying for both of them. I would say that would go slightly over to Zyra during laning phase, and then after laning phase, it really boils down to how each team is playing, how far ahead or behind they are, and how well they're landing their combos. No one of those picks is necessarily better than the other. Zyra offers a little bit more DPS, whereas Lux is more siege and burst and poke, and yeah, it really just depends on how they decide to set things up. If you guys have any questions in chat, hit me up. I will try and answer those before the game itself is in progress. There's going to be a little bit of a black screen while we get into things here, though, but we will be able to take care of this in the long term. A Victor staff? I would like a Victor. Yeah, a Victor emote would be awesome. I would actually like a 8-bit or 16-bit version of the emoticon that we have right now. Sorry, the icon that we have right now turned into an emoticon. I think that would be really cool. The current Morgana nerfs, I haven't seen them that much. Last ones I saw, it was slight damage reduction to the Black Shield, so that was easier to pop. I like the idea of Black Shield being easier to pop, but I think it needs to be a lower duration, and I don't know if they've made that change. I haven't seen the most recent PvE nerfs, so I can't really comment on that too much. Yeah, me and Brian will both do some weird little gimmicks for the next few subscribers. If you have something you want us to do, whether it's like, oh my god, do push-ups on stream, or whether it's, oh my god, sing something, or do something, we want to help you guys out and show our appreciation, so just ask and we'll try and do something for you. As long as it's compliant with the terms and services of Twitch. Alright, so we are still just loading in here. I'm not seeing a whole lot of questions popping up in chat. Just a quick extra comment. Blue side, they cannot afford to fall too far behind. Because Rengar is a beast when he's ahead, when he gets picks for himself, but he doesn't necessarily come back into games outside of massively outplaying his opponents. So if he falls behind versus Aurelia, Aurelia should be able to deal with him in the mid to late game. If Hecarim falls behind, he still has his ult, but he's pretty reliant on those early ganks. Same thing with Lux and Sona and Jinx. They're very powerful picks when ahead, but when they're behind, they're a little lackluster. Alright, so we got everything lined up. In overall team fights, I'm going to give it over to, I would actually say blue side. Because they have the Sona ult initiation, they have the Hecarim ult initiation, either of those works. The third option being Lux leads with a binding, lands a binding, and is able to combo in on top of it. So they have 3 different ways to easily make a start to a fight, and then they have 3 or 4 ways to disengage fights. They have the Rengar Bolas, which are not overly strong at disengage, but it's something. They have the Lux Bindings, the Lux Slows, the Lux Shields, all very good at disengaging. They have, sorry, Brian was starting a video in the background. They have the Sona ult for disengage, which it can be used for. They do have the Jinx Zap and the Jinx Traps to disengage. So they have opportunities to engage, they have opportunities to disengage, and they have rather good team fight potential, just in terms of their DPS, their pick potential, that sort of thing. And then on the split side, though, okay, how are they engaging? Okay, well, Lee Sin can land like an Insac. He can jump in behind someone, kick them out. That's one way to engage. But what else, right? A Nami bubble, well, they have to be pretty damn close to that. Nami excels at disengage and teamfight control, not engaging. Same thing with Zyra. Zyra is amazing at countering engages, but not necessarily good at engaging for her team. Same thing with Aurelia. Aurelia can jump into the back line, but unless that distraction is long enough for Nami to land like a 3-person or more bubble or a 5-man ult or something, they're probably not going to have opportunities to engage. So I'm simply saying that blue side is a little bit more consistent in their team fights, not necessarily that they're better in those team fights. I would like to have a quick comment over to Lux. Wait, is she AFK? No, they're invading, okay. So I actually like that invade. It is warded though, so they're going to know. So I'm going to expect Lee Sin to just run around and take away the enemy red. There's no reason for them to do anything else. But the comment I wanted to make is that Lux is running Ignite. That's not something I'd recommend doing. I would either go heal or barrier, depending on what opponent you're versus. Clairvoyance being a very, very niche option. I sometimes do it for fun. I would not highly recommend it though. It's a I'm duoed with my jungler and I want my jungler to make your life hell sort of a pick, when you're versus a jungler who's not going to make your life too much of a problem. I could have sworn that they had a purple ward in here. Maybe I was blind though. Alright, so I want to keep a quick eye on bot lane. Purple side does get the level 2 first, but not able to land and engage off of it. Alright, Jinx is a little bit behind in experience, so I'm not sure what she was doing during that time that she's fallen behind. Alright, Lee Sin not able to land his gank top. Alright, so Sun is trying to go in with some poke, but as you can see, Nami with the triple bounces is able to cancel that poke very effectively. And that's what I was saying, that Nami has the better early laning phase, assuming both teams are positioning equally or playing equally. Now again, Lee Sin trying for these early ganks, but not really landing much from it. The flash is blown mid, but they don't get too much more. So unless Zyra is able to really push that advantage, which it's hard for her to do because she is a little bit plant reliant there, then she's going to have some problems. Up in top lane, Rengar not able to land that early cheese, it looks like. Pretty much dead even in top lane, actually. Exception being, of course, that Aurelia has more CS. Now, here comes the cheese. If you're going to go for the cheese, I would expect you to be running Ignite. That being said, you played it well, you baited them in, and you were able to get the kill. But generally, if you're playing Rengar and you're going to go for that early, just jump in and start snowballing sort of cheesiness, you're going to want to run Ignite. In this case, though, it works out for you, so good work. Alright, we see Lee Sin trying for another gank. The double flash bubble, very, very nice. That being said, though, you've gone way too deep and you're going to get knocked out by those. I'm not sure why you kept chasing. The double bubble was very, very nice, but unless your team is able to capitalize it and secure a kill during the bubble duration, continuing to dive isn't going to do anything for you, right? There was no kill potential there. That was unwise. Alright, back in top lane. Looks like Rengar has not gone back to buy. But oh my god, he almost takes down Aurelia again. That just shows what Stabby Tabby can do. I mean, we've seen the effectiveness of Rengar. No one can really argue that Rengar isn't a strong pick when played well, and he's doing a good job. So he has used his teleport, but he hasn't bought anything. So I didn't necessarily see where he used that then. That's a little confusing to me. Did he, like, teleport in after the red? I'm not sure what happened there. Okay. Alright, so we see Hecarim back mid this time, picking up a little bit of extra experience, but not really able to land much more. I wanted to point out that Lee Sin has been trying constantly to gank. He's tried to gank on every single lane. I did see him get the Lux Flash mid, so that's lovely. But he needs to have more of an effect on this early game if he wants to do very much, because he's going to start to scale a little bit poorly as the game goes on. If you're not able to land those early ganks, and you're not going to get this kill here, you need to be rushing level 6 so that you can make a play at 6 and get yourself back into the game in terms of map control. I would have said, after you got the Lux Flash mid, said, okay, I had an influence on my lanes, now I'm going to farm to 6. That's probably what I would have suggested. Alright, back in bot lane. CS slightly in Jinx's favor, which is a little bit shocking. Caitlyn should be getting pretty much every CS. Yeah, that's just a little bit surprising. That would just be an indication that she might want to work on her positioning a little bit more, because I do see her taken a little bit low, and I see her falling behind on CS and missing some. So you might want to practice your last hitting a little bit more in custom games. That's just my 2-cent comment here. Alright, there's the level 6 roam coming in from Rengar. Actually, I want to rewatch that so I can see exactly what set this up here. But that's what Rengar does. As soon as he hits level 6, you gank. Every time. He goes in with the ult. Lux not able to land the binding. Hecarim now coming in from the other side. I actually would have said, as Rengar, you probably want to wait and go in from the other side. But either way, it's perfectly fine. He goes in, lands his skills, lands the Bola Strike. Yeah, the ult is going to, of course, take down Lux. So as Lux, you went a little too aggressively. You knew your team had the kill. So what I would have done is just shielded them and backed out. Take the free assist, and don't offer them any return gold. Alright, let's forward this a little bit so we're back to live. Hecarim going back over for blue. Lee goes in, lands the Q onto a small minion instead. Instead of going directly onto Hecarim, he actually finishes the small minion, so he wastes at least 2 auto attacks worth of damage potential there. I'm a little bit surprised though. Hecarim's level 6, but of course he is a little low on mana and was tanking the blue buff. Keep in mind that the buffs, whoever is positioned closest to them is going to be the one taking damage. So I like the idea of that in Invade, but without your team, it's not going to go well for you. So both of them made some misplays there. Lee Sin made the misplay with... ooh, nice attempted steal. Lee Sin made the misplay where he wasted a number of auto attacks. Okay, sloppy binding there on both of you, actually. Nami comes in with a very nice bubble, lands the heal, lands the exhaust, no mana left, though. I might have said instead of the heal, you might have wanted to use your E so that you could land the slow. Because neither of you were low health, right? So why not just put E on Zyra, continue walking forward yourself so you can land extra auto attacks, and then let Zyra slow them for the free kill. But yeah, sorry, as I was saying with the fight there, Hecarim mispositioned, so he took way too much damage from the blue buff and lost the duel. Instead of repositioning so that Lee Sin was closer to the buff, he could have then ulted to fear him inside the buff and tried to get his team in position to duel. That being said, he was low mana, so I understand why he might have tried to like retreat or not really do that fight. And then, of course, as I mentioned, Lee Sin wasted a number of attacks on him. Hecarim coming back mid, lends the ult across Zyra. I would have tried to get in front of Zyra so that she can't just root you, yeah. And now Nami comes in, Tidal Wave goes across, does not connect, but it's enough. Zyra actually goes back in. Eee. And there's the Jinx ult. Oh. Yeah, Zyra, you need to watch your positioning a little bit more. Nami had already saved you, you could have just kept walking out, right? Nice ult coming across. Jinx lands some damage. Nami with the flash bubble, stunning them inside tower. Caitlyn goes into the trap. Caitlyn ult wasted there. Nami, your E is coming up in 2 seconds. Rather than stopping and using the W, I want to see you positioning a little bit closer so you can activate the E slow and then follow up with a another bubble because it was coming up soon. That being said, you land another bubble. Hecarim coming in behind though. Caitlyn a little out of position here. Gets the net backwards. Nami with no mana left. Alright, so they do actually get away there. Yeah, Caitlyn tries to go back in. I'm seeing a lot of overstaying here. Zyra did it 2 seconds ago, now Caitlyn did it. If she got caught there, she was dead, right? She'd used all of her escapes in the fight 2 seconds before. There wasn't any farm for her to take, really. So walking back out into lane could have got her kill. I see a teleport coming in from Rengar. That being said, with the teleport used, it does create some pressure on the bot side of the map for purple side, because they know that he can't teleport down there. In this case though, doesn't matter, both teleports are down, and blue team is on that dragon. Lee Sin tries to go in well actually a lot too early, and he's gonna get taken down by those Jinx rockets. Not quite sure what Lee Sin was thinking there. Lots of damage coming in from Jinx. Jinx rocket goes across, lands the kill. Caitlyn now in behind, but not in a good position. She actually nets forward to take out Hecarim. I don't agree with that. That being said, beautiful Nami ult, beautiful Nami bubble, saving her. That is actually very well played. That being said though, I would give that credit over to Nami, not to Caitlyn. Caitlyn went way too close and put herself in an unnecessarily dangerous position. Hey, Nami, you have your E? Use your E. E. Alright, so you could have activated the E on the first attack, causing you to land the slow, step forward, land a second auto attack as you drop a ward in the bush, and you would have had the kill. Caitlyn just farming out bot lane here. And Rengar already has tower down top and is 4-0-4. Very high effect on the outcome of this game. I also like his decision to take away, not buffs in this case, but take away jungle camps. Continue building up that farm advantage, get that gold, and snowball things in your favor. He is up 2 levels on Aurelia. As you can see, he can duel Aurelia all day long. Aurelia's decision to fight there is questionable. Like, I don't know quite what her thinking is. You're down 2 levels, you're down a lot of items. What you need to be doing at that point is playing safely and trying to farm back in. Unless you're, like, for example, Lee Sin was coming top, or he could have come top. Maybe ping that, farm things out a little bit, and then say, okay, Lee's coming in, take a little bit of damage, use Equilibrium Strike to stun, follow up with your ult to heal back up, and then jump onto him and stay in range while Lee is there kicking him back into you, dealing damage, slowing, etc, etc, etc. Alright, so that's a tower over to them. I'm expecting them to rotate over to Dragon here, but we'll see what decision they go for. They have 3 people bot side of the map, and yeah, I just don't see much reason for them not to. That being said, Lee Sin does catch out Sona, but not able to do anything with it, as he does know the rest of the team is there to help her. Ultimate goes across, Hecarim coming in, lands a decent amount of damage. There's the Jinx trap and a kill. Alright, so Lee Sin's pathing there was quite odd. I'm not sure why he tried to go back to tower when he could have just gone straight up through the jungle, used a ward jump, and got over the wall that way. His trinket appears to be up. So yeah, I would have walked up this way, then trinketed from here over to tower. That's what I would have done for that escape. Alright, Zyra ult going through. Hecarim jumps over the ult though. Takes a lot of damage in return and is going to be taken down. Nami coming through, gets jumped on by Rengar. Jinx is in position. Jinx gets... Oh, actually, no, sorry. Still goes over to Rengar. Ultimate coming through from Rengar now. I don't expect him to be able to finish that off in time. That being said, the Bola Strike is there, and so he can dive all day long. As long as you get the snared version of the Bola stuck on them, you're going to be able to get the kill. But I was more referring to the instant burst isn't going to happen, but it doesn't matter. There's no one to protect her, right? Jinx can follow through, you can follow through. Blue team is making a huge advantage for themselves right now, just in terms of pick potential and how they're rotating through the map. Again though, I would like to see Dragon picked up next time. You have a lot of pressure here, so I want to see you focusing the tower, which I see pings going down on. Take the tower first, because you can see Leah's mid, you can see Zyra's mid, so no one's here to stop you, right? Take the bot tower, rotate dragon, pull your forces together, essentially. Hell, even cut off purple team and kill them as well. You have so many picks that you can choose from right now. Instead, they just opt for dragon. Fine decision, nothing really wrong with it. I just think there could have been more gained in that 2-minute exchange. I got a little bit of a stall here. Lee Sin trying to get some counter jungling going, but I don't see much gonna happen from this. Akram's coming in, Lux is already here, and they have a ward on the blue buff. So he needs to just walk away, and thankfully he is going for that decision. Rengar trying to come up through though, he has his Moby boots. He has ult as well, but instead he opts to go just farm up top lane. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, does... I'm under the impression that you still build Ghostblade before Last Whisper on Rengar, just because of the quick burst combos. There's nothing wrong with Last Whisper, I just usually expect to see Ghostblade prioritized first, because of the flat armor pen. Early game counters before they stack a whole ton of armor, and the move speed, the attack speed, just to make your combo a little bit smoother. Nami's in behind, but that's not necessarily a position you want to be in because your team doesn't want to fight right now. I just questioned that positioning. Like, what is your goal of being where you're at, right? Are you trying to fight? Are you trying to counter jungle? Are you trying to take an objective? Are you trying to duel? The positioning here, even if there was no ward, what is it designed to accomplish, right? Let's rewind and watch the Rengar kill, but we can pretty much guarantee what happens here. He sits in the bush, sees Lee jump through, lands the quick combo, and should just be able to jump over. Nice jump to the minion, actually. I really like that decision. Flash goes through. I'm going to call Smurf. I don't know. It's a little questionable. That being said, either way, good job. Alright, so same issue I had earlier with Caitlyn. She's overstaying and mispositioning a little bit. She's allowing herself to be poked for free. In this circumstance, it doesn't harm her. But if any of these were bindings rather than just E's coming out from Lux, that's a pick. Boom. Alright, so Rengar just gonna stealth away. Moby boots are active, he's just going to heal up off these minions. Nami trying to cycle around, but that's not a fight you want, Nami. Unless Zyra's here, yeah. Lands the exhaust, nice job. Yeah, you needed that exhaust on so that they couldn't burst quickly, so good decision there. Alright, so same issue I had before with you guys. Are you trying to fight here, right? Is that something you really want? Yes, Rengar's dead, but the rest of the team it's not as though they're overly weak. Nami going in very deep, trying to get the stun onto Sona. Doesn't land it, but Aurelia is able to land the kill. In the process, though, she's walking way too close to this Lux. In the meantime, Lee is able to pick up the kill onto Jinx. Jinx overstayed. She tried to finish the turret, which, yes, you want the turret dead, but it's not worth dying for, right? Alright, so he should just be able to walk away now. So in this case, that fight did work out, but I believe that was sloppily played from both. Let's actually just rewind it. Okay, so my first concern is Nami being in here indicates you want to fight. They have vision, right? Like, they know you're there. So Zyra's trying to come through. Lee is in behind. No one's in position for this fight. In this case, though, it doesn't matter because Zyra's pulling back, Jinx is just tanking tower, and now you've just let them set up a Zyra ult across your entire team. At this point, Zyra can die happy. It doesn't even matter, right? So then Lux misses pretty much all of her cooldowns, and then she goes back in onto tower. Sorry, switching people, but yes. They go back in onto tower. A lot of just miscommunications and sloppiness from both sides. I would just take a quick look at this fight on your own time and just see where you're positioning and what are you trying to accomplish with that fight, right? You don't fight for kills, you fight for objectives and what it's going to do for your team. Yeah, in this case, Lee's gonna take that. Aurelia's gonna try and return, but no one's really gonna get these kills. The Hecarim ult goes across. Nami does not have any CC up to try and solve this. Yeah, Equilibrium strikes up right in like a second. So I'd like to see the ultimate activated first, then Equilibrium strike without stopping for that auto attack. And then you could have possibly still been in range for Blade Surge. That being said, it's fine. In terms of CS, Rengar has advantage, Lux has advantage, and bot lane is even. So a lot of the gold advantage is towers and CS. That's really nice to see for blue side, because I'm always saying, stop caring so much about kills, care about the rest of your effect on the game. In this case, they're winning, yes, they're winning in kills. Yes, they have gold advantage from kills. I'm not denying that for a second, but pay attention that they're not just taking kills and farming KDA. They're getting CS, they're getting towers, and they're getting dragons quite often. And that's really how you snowball an advantage. Alright, just waiting to see what decides to go through here. They do land a lot of damage onto her, but there's not a whole lot of damage on Lux built yet. I would like to see Lux farming up, right? Just get CS everywhere you can, finish up your Death Cap, finish your Void Staff, finish your Hourglass, get as many items as you can, because that's how you're going to be just one-shotting people, right? Lux needs items. Her base damage just isn't that good. Rengar's up pushing top. That's applying a lot of pressure here. So there's two purple team gonna go up there. Okay, a million compliments for this, okay? Because Rengar's bringing two people top. It doesn't matter if he dies. Blue team needs to force the mid tower as a result. Sona, you have flash ult. So if you see any grouping, I want to see you flash ulting and your team comboing in, taking the 3 kills, taking the tower. Because it doesn't matter what Rengar does, right? He's pulled two people top, he's created a numbers advantage for you. That's your sign to fight. It looks like instead they're going to try and rotate back to top. That's not how you want to play that. Okay. That was a very nice juke. Very smart there, Rengar. I don't really care if he's a Smurf. We'll probably just graduate him regardless. But that was an entertaining juke. Zyra coming through gets hit by a Lux binding. When you are going to hit a binding, you generally want to QER at the same time, so you overlap all 3 cooldowns. Now they do catch out Jinx. The ult comes in from Sona a little late. Obviously, at that point you know they're dead, right? Okay, I love that Lee Sin dance. That's beautiful. But yeah, I think that she could have possibly bursted Zyra down there, but overstaying was the more questionable decision. Let's try and fast forward this a little bit. Want to get back to live. Alright, so they do take away the dragon. Rengar actually gets caught by a binding there, not taking that much damage as a result, though. Now, Hecarim has some DC issues. I know there's a couple issues being discussed in chat right now. You guys are welcome to pause if someone's just having a quick interruption to their connection. But, yeah, I would prefer not to pause for a very long period of time, but if it's just like a couple minutes, I totally get it. Alright, so Zyra and Nami are in behind, but again, why would you want to fight, right? And so your positioning has to reflect what you're trying to accomplish. Are you warding? Are you fighting? Are you rotating to a different lane, right? So I don't want to sound like I'm picking on the same people, but Zyra and Nami seem to be the main issues in just being where they don't want to be. But not quite able to connect there. Rengar's in at the side here. He does have his ult ready to go. So what I would expect to see is him either rotating back top and trying to do the split push again with a 4-1 split, or he can try and just ult the back line and let his team engage off of that. That being said, no, never mind. I fast forwarded enough. She has ult and flush. Nice amount of damage in there. Zyra not quite getting hit by the Jinx ult as she walks the other way. In the meantime, Rengar picks off Nami in the jungle. I want to just see here. Okay. Same complaint as before. Nami, what are you doing here? Your team's back here. They're not trying to fight, so why are you dancing around behind the enemy line? As a support, your job is to control team fights, so your position should be like back here, not down in the jungle. That's leaving you open to be killed, and it's meaning that you can't have an influence on the outcome of that fight, right? If you're back in here, you could keep your allies safe, you could be landing a bubble, you could be ulting to make sure they don't dive onto your team. There's all sorts of stuff you can do there, but only if you're with your team. Lee Sin goes in, drops the ward, but is not able to land the kick. Rengar now coming in with the ult. Sona ult comes across. That is a very deadly Sin. Aurelia does pick up the kill on Jinx. Gonna be taken down quite quickly, though, I would expect. No flash, okay. Yeah, the binding connects, but it's a little late on that. So Aurelia is gonna get out thanks to that flash. So they're going to take away inhib. They need to back out after that, though, as they are coming back up. Yeah, you don't have an AD carry, so it's a little bit hard to push without one. Lands the binding, but not able to go back in on it. Lux just clearing out farm with her ult. It's actually fine to clear farm with your ult. It's a lot of people complain about it, but it's a fine decision if you're not going to fight in the next minute or so. So I really want to see some fights forced here. Unfortunately, though, with an AFK, you generally want to play pretty passively, so... Not sure what that was. Both of them just sort of walk into each other, wave, and then are just like, okay, you go your way, I'll go mine. Little odd. Little odd. Alright, a decent amount of damage going back onto Nami. Jinx way out of position. You gotta stay with your team. Now, the Lee Sin kick, though, saves her beautifully. Aurelia not quite able to pick up the kill. Zyra taken down by Rengar, and Aurelia just not able to rejoin. In the meantime, though, We see the Bola Strike coming in, lands as a slow, not a snare. Jumps over to Caitlyn, and they just sort of walk their own way, go back onto Aurelia. Or away from Aurelia in this case. Not able to connect with the ball at that time. But yeah, that Lee Sin kick was questionable, to say the least. Alright, so that is going to be the free inhib over to them. We see a teleport going bot lane, so that's going to be Aurelia just trying to pick up a free turret for herself. We see a counter teleport coming in from Rengar. So she's forced to back out. That counter jungle Lux. Alright, so they have a lot of pressure on top tower here. No one really able to respond because they see where they are bot lane. Instead, they're going to rotate over to Baron. Great decision. Just abusing where the enemy is on the map, allowing yourself to continually get free advantages. So Lee Sin is here. Is he going to go for the steal? No. Poor Lee. He's still standing there. I'm not sure what's going... Oh. Oh, Lee.
There's no vision, is there?
No, there is no vision there, but I'm not sure why he queued so late. If you don't have a ward, how are you going to steal? Alright, so blue team is rotating up mid. I actually don't like that decision that much, because there's no one dead on the enemy team. Yes, you have the inhibitor down mid, but that's exactly why you don't go mid. There's nothing for you to push unless you're ending the game. And now that Hecarim is back, yes, they can end the game, but a better decision is usually to rotate to a side lane. So we see the double support ult coming up here. Sona gets taken very low quickly. Rengar jumps into the middle of the Zyra ult and is going to be knocked up. Now the question is, can they lock him down long enough to land a kill? A lot of damage going through onto him, and that should be a very dead kitty cat. Now Hecarim ults back across, landing it across the entire team except for poor little Nami there. That's going to stall things out, I believe, long enough. Now Hecarim, super tanky. Oh, Lux ult doing a lot of damage. Jinx able to go in with her rockets. Should get the kill onto Lee Sin there. Nope, heal goes through from Nami. Hecarim just trying to helicopter as much as he can. And that's a very dead Jinx. I thank you for swapping as Jinx. I've had a number of Jinxes in the last couple workshops who do very well, but don't use their Q effectively. You need to swap back and forth between the two, and that was a good example of just like swap to your Q, get the attack speed bonus. Alright, so we'll see if we can land a re-engage here. Aurelia tries to go for the flash stun, not really going to happen though. Gets hit by the snare and the zap. Caitlyn, you are too close again. Way too close. That being said, Zyra lands the plants, and that's a kill over to them. So you could call that a bait if you want. That being said, there's no excusing that positioning from Caitlyn. She really needs to work on that, and that's not the first time I've seen her do that. Alright, Lee taken very low. Jinx flashes in, finishes off the kill. Nami goes in, and that's going to be another set of kills over to purple side. So that was just the example of why you don't push mid. There's nothing for you to take there. Go top, take the free second inhibitor, make them try and defend it, and then kill them. Because you can actually dive past that. You can't dive through 2 towers and a fountain laser, right? Oh, Sona lands the ult, but not really necessary. Alright, Rengar's just chilling in the jungle. Alright, so we're gonna look for any sort of engage that goes through here. Lux landing a lot of damage with her laser. No one's really able to follow up on it though. Jinx ult comes across, not quite able to pick them up. That being said, they have quite the numbers advantage now in terms of just who is going to have to heal. Now, I want to see Nexus taken. Rengar is in the middle of pushing up top lane, so if they stall out the mid push, they can rotate up and take top. If they try and fight mid lane, then they can just engage and win. Alright, so Zyra going quite close, landing the ult across though. Caitlyn coming in, trying to land some damage. She's walking again very, very close. You need to hit whoever is closest and safest. Instead, you're walking directly into Hecarim. That being said, nice Nami ult landing across their team. And that's exactly what I said was going to happen, Caitlyn. You're just walking directly into Hecarim and you're letting him kill you. Now, you're going to live there. But you could have attacked him about 7 or 8 times during that rather than walking directly into his face. Lee Sin lands the Q onto the Jinx. Drops the ward, but not able to land the kick. So if that's what you're intending to do, you need to work on your ward kicks. That's for sure. Alright, Aurelia is able to jump in, lands the slow onto Jinx. Zyra goes through with the roots. Caitlyn ult comes across, and that is a kill. Now, nice bubble onto the Sona there. That being said, though, Rengar is now here. Boom! Lots of damage. That's gonna be a very, very dead Zyra. Now, it looked like there was a couple auto attack animation cancels there on Rengar, so his combo might have been able to be played better. I think he could have got 2, if not 3 kills there, but whatever, he did his job. Alright, are they going to end it now, or are they going to stall it out? No, instead they just tank it up again. Lee Sin gets a lot of damage in, but Lux lands the ult across them, picks up a double kill. Alright, Hecarim knocking them backwards. You're a little close there, Lux. I'm not sure why you're walking directly into their Nexus. Okay, well, I really didn't like that play by Lux. I mentioned in the pregame that I don't think she should have Ignite, but her positioning there, again, you're walking directly into damage, you're walking into danger for no reason. That's not something I want to see happening here, please. Alright, so now they have the final push here. I would expect them to just be able to end. Same comment as before, though. Just A-ramming mid isn't usually the best idea. Being said, you're far enough ahead that you're going to make it work. Lands the triple ult. Sona then, unfortunately, only lands it onto 2. Rengar, though, jumps onto Caitlyn, gets knocked up by the Nami ult. Now, you want to reposition so you're not standing in that Zyra ult. Instead, though, he does. Gets kicked back. He's probably going to die quite quickly there. Jinx ults across the team, lands a ton of damage. Lux ult finishes it off. And that should then be the game. Aurelia tries to go back in, but too little too late. Game goes over to blue side. Good work, everyone. Now, I'm going to have some comments for final builds, and then we're going to get into the next workshop game. So please, if you want to play in the workshops, make sure you're in the chat room so that we can handle all of the invites. The chat room names are P4N mid, P4N top, P4N ADC, P4N jungle. Well, P4N and role name, right? Pretty simple. What do I recommend on Lux instead of Ignite? I would usually run Heal or Barrier. You run Barrier if you know that your enemy is going to run Ignite in 90% of cases, or if they have like a healing reduction, like a Tristana mid, a Ziggs mid. Anyone who's going to be able to reduce your healing, you want to run Barrier instead. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go over final builds here. Now, I had a couple questions, I had a couple comments during the game about overall playstyles, positioning, decision-making, so definitely watch the videos back once we upload them to YouTube. We should have those uploaded later this evening or tomorrow morning at the latest. There has been some issues with the Twitch exporter, so that could cause some unnecessary delays. Now, in terms of overall builds, Hecarim had a lot of connectivity issues here, so he opted to go for pretty much a full tank build. I agree with that decision because you can't rely on being able to land a full combo and being able to really survive and play to your best. So being tanky just allows you to soak up damage more effectively. If not, I might have recommended like an Iceborne Gauntlet for an earlier offensive items. That being said, overall really good. Landed some good ults, landed some good plays, and I would, again, just recommend watching the video back. We had some minor comments, but unfortunately you were disconnected for much of the game, so couldn't say too much. Rengar, some really, really good plays. Our only real comments were, I believe, to do with a couple sloppy combos. I questioned whether or not you should have Last Whisper before Ghostblade or not. I don't watch that much Rengar, so I mean, you built it anyway, so your build's fine. No real complaints there. We'll probably be graduating you from future workshops because there wasn't too many mechanical issues in your gameplay. It was just that, like, you played Rengar well. There wasn't too much to say about the Rengar. So I don't know if you're a Smurf. I don't know if it's just like you're having other issues where you're not climbing. But in this game, there wasn't too much advice I could really offer. Lux had some issues again with positioning, skill shots, cycling combos, but her build is pretty standard, getting Athene's into Deathcap Void Staff, and then late game Hourglass. I'm not sure what the extra Fiendish Codex was. Because Neasly Large Rod, I'm assuming, is going into Hourglass, which I agree with, because you want to deal with anyone who's diving onto you, and it gives you a lot of AP, it gives you some armor. Fiendish Codex could go into something like a Twin Shadows if you're trying to catch out the enemy team. But in this case, I just don't know what you're going to build it into. It could be a Morellonomicon, but that's usually overload of CDR. So that's something to question in your future gameplay. Sona opted to go for Ardent Sensor. It's an alright choice. You do have a shield, you do have a heal, but it's not AoE. The only person you really care about the attack speed on is Jinx. Because Rengar's already going to be in the fight, you're not going to be healing him because it's low range, right? And he already has Ghostblade. So you're not generally going to be getting an effect from Ardent Sensor on Rengar. Hecarim doesn't care about attack speed. Lux doesn't care about his attack speed. Oh, yes. Okay, they're probably building into DFG Lux. I'm not used to seeing DFG Lux. It's not something I expect to see. But if you're running Ignite, you're going to be positioning closer to fight, so it could definitely work. Generally, though, I try and stay out of range on Lux, but with the buff to her passive, and the fact that you were taking Ignite, I could get behind a DFG. Yeah, that's fine. Jinx, your build is fine. Your playstyle was alright. I didn't have any real issues. There was a couple comments towards positioning, but overall, good play. I might recommend Heal. Heal is statistically better than Barrier, unless you're versus Ignite in your lane, or Healing Reduction in your lane. So unless you're versus like an MF or a Trist, you're probably going to want that Barrier. Or sorry, you're going to want Heal over Barrier. If you're versus someone who's going to be able to reliably reduce your healing, then take Barrier over Heal. I just think Heal is still a better option. Lee Sin had some concerns with your early ganks. I think you needed to farm 6 earlier so that you could land your ganks a little bit better. We had some concerns with your ward hops, some concerns with your alts. I'm not sure what the pickaxe is going into. Were you going for like a late game Hydra? If you want Hydra or like a Tiamat, you build it early mid game. You build early game damage to snowball your advantage, and then you build tank to survive and be useful late game. So I'm not sure when that pickaxe was purchased, but that's something to consider. Aurelia, pretty standard build. She had some issues in lane, and unfortunately Rengar is a very, very binary lane. Either you win lane or you don't, right? Rengar, once he's ahead, is very difficult to deal with, so I can understand some of the issues she had. Some of her re-engages were quite good. I had a couple questionable plays where it was just like you ran into someone and didn't fight them when you could have easily dueled them. It's possible that you did notice someone on the map or your team wasn't in position to follow up. But again, watch the video back, get some advice, question your own positioning, question your own decision making, because you played the game, you know what your thought process was. So use some of my advice to constructively improve your gameplay in future matches. Zyra. Pretty standard build. I'm assuming, though, I actually don't like the Fiendish. I'm gonna nix that. I would like to see an Hourglass on her, because she was always dropping her combo, and she dropped her combo reasonably well, and then she was dying. And while that's not necessarily a bad thing, having an Hourglass is going to give you a lot of AP, it's going to give you a lot of armor to deal with the Rengar and the Jinx, but more importantly, it's going to be able to cancel out an enemy play. So it's going to be able to cancel out Rengar jumping onto you. It's going to be able to cancel out a Hecarim ult. It's going to be able to cancel out a Lux combo. There's so many things that you could use it for there. Just drop the entire combo, pop into Hourglass, wait till their combo ends, then re-engage with a second set of cooldowns. So I really would like to see an Hourglass in this, but overall, not that big of an issue. Nami, a lot of issues with positioning, a lot of issues with decision making. That being said, your combos were very, very well played overall. So, good work, but you will want to watch the video back. We had some concerns. Same thing with Caitlyn. A lot of concerns with last hitting, positioning, decision-making. I don't want to pick on either of you, but there were some definite weaknesses and some definite misplays. So watch the videos back and try and take some of the advice to heart. It's not in any way intended to be mean-spirited, so take it at face value and then move on, right? Alright, so I'm going to load up the chat rooms again, and we're going to start up the next match. If you guys would like to play in the workshop games, make sure that you're in the chat rooms and ready to